Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. The Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Cabinet and Assistant Ministers, Honorable Leader of Opposition, the Honorable Members of Parliament, fellow citizens and online viewers. I rise in support of the motion that is before the House, and that is to thank His Excellency the President for his most gracious speech when he opened this 2026 session of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, His Excellency reminded us that our diversity is our strength and our unity must be actively nurtured. It must be built through fair laws, inclusive policies, respectful leadership, and disciplined debate. In his address, His Excellency reminded us that we govern in an era defined by technological disruption, economic volatility, geopolitical uncertainty, and the accelerating impacts of climate change. These forces are shaping our domestic realities, including the movement of people within and beyond Fiji. He observed that global instability is driving migration, creating unprecedented demographic shifts. For Fiji, Mr. Speaker, this reality carries both challenge and opportunity. Migration is no longer a peripheral issue. It is central to national resilience, labor market stability, and social cohesion. Technological change and artificial intelligence are reshaping labor markets worldwide. Fiji must therefore ensure that its immigration framework supports national development by facilitating the entry of skills that complement and strengthen our domestic workforce, protecting employment opportunities and fair conditions for Fijian workers, maintaining firm, transparent, and lawful border management systems, and ensuring that migration processes reflect integrity, efficiency, and accountability. As a small island developing state, we are particularly sensitive to demographic shifts, urbanization pressures, outward labor mobility, and regional movement of people must be carefully managed to sustain economic growth while preserving social harmony. Immigration policy must therefore be guided by the three core principles reflected in His Excellency the President's address. Unity in diversity, recognizing that Fiji's multicultural fabric is a strength and that lawful, well-managed migration contributes positively to national life. Sustainability and resilience, ensuring that population growth, labor inflows, and mobility arrangements align with infrastructure capacity, environmental stewardship, and long-term economic plan. Integrity and good governance. The third, upholding the rule of law in all immigration processes, safeguarding public confidence in our border systems, and ensuring fairness and consistency in decision-making. Mr. Speaker, immigration is not merely about the regulation of entry and exit. It is about security. It is about shaping the future composition of our workforce. It is about strengthening regional partnerships, supporting economic competitiveness, and safeguarding sovereignty. His Excellency has set a clear tone, one of stability, reform, and service delivery that meets the expectation of our people. Leaders are urged to uphold integrity, responsible debate, and national unity, especially as Fiji approaches an election year. Mr. Speaker, as Minister for Immigration, I reaffirm our commitment to modernizing our systems, strengthening border security, and improving immigration services for Fijians at home and abroad. Mr. Speaker, our passport system is undergoing a major upgrade. This is the first upgrade since the acquiring of this passport system in 2019. It is a little overdue, but it is being done now. This upgrade, when completed, will significantly improve the quality and efficiency of our passport service delivery to the public. Individuals will be able to complete their passport enrollment online, wherever they are, even from the comfort of their homes, and only first-time passport applicants will be required to book an appointment date to visit the nearest immigration office for their biometric capture. This certainly will reduce waiting times, improve efficiency, and provide greater convenience to our citizens. So for passport renewals, you will only visit an immigration office to collect your new passport. We will make announcements when the upgrade is completed, and our target is by the end of May. Mr. Speaker, the Ministry received a new batch of 45,000 blank passport books just last Friday, the 6th of March. This is the balance of the 100,000 books that was budgeted for in the 2024-2025 budget. In this budget year, another batch of 100,000 books is budgeted for, and the contract for the production has been signed. I wish to assure Fijians that there is sufficient stock available. Therefore, there is no need to unnecessarily rush through your applications. Mr. Speaker, immigration is transitioning its border management system from the current system to the merit system. This work is supported by Australia, and a team from Merit will be in Fiji from the 30th of this month. As we commence the implementation process, the modules will be implemented in stages to allow us to plan carefully, allocate resources appropriately, and roll out the system in a practical and effective manner. Mr. Speaker, the API PNR, Advanced Passenger Information and Passenger Name Record project is critical to strengthening our border security framework. This data system is key to security evaluation of those coming through our borders, and at the same time ensuring faster processing and facilitation of genuine visitors across our borders. In line with government standard procurement procedures, the expression of interest was advertised and it is closed, and we are working with ITC on the final stages of the evaluation and the selection process. Mr. Speaker, document fraud remains a serious and growing global threat. Fraudulent passports, visas, and identity documents are increasingly becoming sophisticated and often linked to transnational crime, human trafficking, people smuggling, and other security risks. The establishment of a document forensic laboratory in Nandi and in Suva is a big development in this very important area of immigration work. We are working closely with the Australian government, and as we strengthen Fiji's technical capacity to detect forged and altered travel documents quickly and accurately. Mr. Speaker, we are decentralizing our immigration services. A new immigration office will open in Nakasi and has been approved by the relevant authorities. It will undergo an office fit-out, and we are awaiting new enrollment kits that are being sea-freighted with an ETA on the 1st of April. This new office will ease congestion in the Suva office, certainly reduce travel time for residents in surrounding communities, Suvarnasori corridor, and bring the immigration services closer to the people. We are also finalizing the location of a new immigration office in Rakiraki town. My permanent secretary and the PS Civil Service and staff from the Office Accommodation Unit had just returned from Rakiraki today to finalize this process, and I'm told that they have finalized the location in Rakiraki town. This move to Rakiraki will greatly improve access to communities in the Rak province, Tavua, Wanimbuka, and nearby rural areas. Presently, these communities would travel all the way to Lautoka or to Suva for immigration services. Like the new Nakasi office, the technical equipment for this new Rakiraki office is expected to arrive on the 1st of April. Mr. Speaker, we are targeting the end of May to complete all the upgrade to our passport systems and opening these two new offices in Nakasi and Rakiraki. We are also progressing plans to relocate the Sabsabu and Lautoka offices. This relocation aims to improve service delivery and provide a more professional, secure, and accommodating workspace for staff and our customers in the north. Mr. Speaker, last week Friday, International Women's Day was celebrated globally under the theme Give to Gain. The Ministry also marked this occasion, and I wish to commend the invaluable contributions made by women across all areas of our work. Mr. Speaker, within our ministry, women constitute 70% of our staff. Their commitment, their expertise, and leadership are central to driving the ministry forward, ensuring that our services are delivered efficiently and effectively. The remarkable contributions of these women strengthen our operations, they uphold the integrity of our work, and inspire a culture of professionalism across every area of work within the Ministry of Immigration. Mr. Speaker, my staff at our Lautoka office are all women. Yes, they do all the immigration work, including boarding all those ships, big and small, that come into Lautoka or Vunda Marina. I know that they're happy to hear about the new Rakiraki office, as it will relieve a lot of pressure from their office in Lautoka. Mr. Speaker, His Excellency reminded us in his speech that the review of the 2013 Constitution has commenced. That process commenced in this House when we voted on the Constitution Amendment Bill and the consequent proceedings that followed in the Supreme Court. The referendum bill, which is a prominent part of constitutional review, is currently going through the consultation process under the Justice, Law and Human Rights Standing Committee. The Honourable Minister for Justice and Acting Attorney General articulated this process very well yesterday. Mr. Speaker, some members of the opposition have been asking in this House, what does government want to change in the Constitution? Insinuating that there is a list hidden somewhere. Mr. Speaker, the answer to their ill-founded insinuation is in His Excellency's speech. And let me remind them, and I quote, I'll read it to them. This is what he said. Central to this review is meaningful public participation, transparency, and dialogue. Government is committed to ensuring that the voices of all Fijians across communities, generations, and regions are heard and respected. Through structured consultation and expert engagement, the review will work to build broad-based consensus and reinforce public confidence in the constitutional framework that underpin our democratic institution, unquote. His Excellency even went further, and I quote, and he said that the Constitution Amendment Bill, like all other bills, will be made public and undergo an extensive consultation process with robust public debate and input before it is tabled to Cabinet and Parliament, unquote. In other words, Mr. Speaker, the changes to the Constitution will come from the voices of Fijians. And the process will follow the process that is laid out in the review of the Constitution. And let me just add that in our 56 years of independence, constitutional change has been the most part, preceded by a military coup. But this time, we, the members of this House, in this term, we have the opportunity and government has the political will to take this constitution back to the people, and at the end of the review process, we will have a constitution that truly reflects the will of the people as it should, and not the will of a few as it is now. Mr. Speaker, in his speech, His Excellency paid tribute to our peacekeepers. Fiji has deployed in peacekeeping missions for 48 years now. And as we know, the missions that they deployed to and are deployed to now are mostly around the Middle East. Our troops are currently deployed in the Golan Heights and in Sinai. And as we watch what is happening in the Middle East, we remember our peacekeepers and their families. We pray for their safety and good health. We pray for peace in the Middle East and the world. To our brave peacekeepers, thank you for your service to your country, and thank you for your service to world peace. And to your families, thank you for your support, and thank you for your sacrifice. Mr. Speaker, I most sincerely thank His Excellency for his most gracious speech, and I fully support the motion that is before the House. Thank you, sir.